guys, we're going to do a book review on Traveling Mercies, which was our August read, and it was definitely a poolside book, a lake book, and it was definitely like I wouldn't say a biography, but I would want to say like journal inserts of Anne's life. And she is definitely compassionate, she's definitely real, she's definitely raw, her language is just the way it is. And Traveling Mercies is just the way God's granted her mercy and grace along her travels. And that's pretty much what it is. Every single chapter is a travel. It could be a day with kids. It could be, for example, her identification with lily pads. What does a lily pad mean? Why did she have a topic called lily pads? Why was a chapter called that? Well, that was really her conversion moment. And she talks about how it took place on a lily pad in her vision. It felt like a lily pad moment. I'll read this insert and give you an idea of how raw she was. Let me back it up. Oh, okay. So she's at this point, she is going through a season in her life where she's just disgusted in herself. And she talks about, this is real, this is raw. She said, I was so disgusted that I had gotten drunk. And 1 week after an abortion, I am waking up and asking for help because I was drunk, don't know why I'm bleeding so much. But she's like, why should I ask for help? I am disgusted in myself. And she goes on and she kept talking about how she was changing her Kotex. And she's verbal here. She's like, I got sober really quick, but then noticed that the blood stopped flowing. And she said, that wild tendency came back in me to have another drink, take another sleeping pill. And she said, and just try to get the blood to stop. But yet she knew she wasn't doing what she was supposed to. And she says down here, I got in the corner of my room and I just sobbed. And she said, I just kind of felt so strong that God has turned his eyes from me and he doesn't care. And she said in that moment, she knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that she felt surely that Jesus was right next to her, almost as if a dog was lying right on top of her and cuddling her with its warm body. And she said she felt that presence. And she said, what mercy and grace in that moment of her disgust. And that's basically what her book is about. That was her lily pad moment of grace and love and God's patience. And it felt like a lily pad just floating and in a moment of disgust, yet she felt so safe. Kind of like a frog on a lily pad or a turtle on a lily pad. She's just very visual. And we could go on and talk about this one I liked too. This was funny. She was, this was funny. She says, there are people in the community she talks about people in the community who prayed for her and took care of her, would give her quarters, to be able to get her washing done. But she said there are people in the community who pray and practice their faith. They are Buddhists, they are Jews, they are Christians, people banding together to work on themselves and for human rights. They follow a brighter light than the glimmer of their own candle. They are part of something beautiful. I saw once from the Jewish Theological Seminary that said, a human life is like a single letter of the alphabet. It can be meaningless or it can be part of a great big meaning. And she said, I want my life to be meaningful, but I have nothing meaningful in my life. And so she travels on. And you begin to see that her life is a story. And by the way, God brings people, or God teaches her a situation through a child, through death. She talks about a lot of death in here. Grieving moments. If you're grieving or losing somebody right at this moment, this could be a really good book for you to be able to say, you know what, this is a real moment and it's okay that I feel raw, but help you see where God's showing up in your moment, because she shares that. So if a light read, something that's just going to help you feel normal, I guess. Here's another one. It's just under the chapter of Traveling Mercies. She's talking about how, I loved the way her wordage was on this. She was in her car, they were going somewhere, and suddenly they stopped at a busy intersection. Her car made a bad sound. It was like a slippering and crashing sound. And she said it sounded like all its internal organs were trying to fall out of the car's vagina. I mean, that's her type of writing. If this makes you feel like, I don't like it, then you're not going to like her writing. I appreciated it. She's a God-fearing woman. She's real. And again, this was her way before her, she was just converted at this time and really finding God. So she's like, my actions and my words were not all there. And she was okay with it. But she said, yeah, God was not giving up on her. So she goes on and talks about how people are so rude. Her car wouldn't move because all the organs fell out, and yet people are beeping and telling her to move her effing car, but she actually uses the bad word in the book. And then her son, who she's trying to teach about God, rolls down his window, and she goes on to say, what a nightmare I am. If anybody from my church seen me, she said, he rolls down his window and says, stop yelling at us, you effing a-holes. And this is her little boy, Sam. And here she is, and she sits back for a minute and says, oh boy. And she just thought, what would God think about her in the middle of her New York moment? In the middle of her hot mess, this is what comes out. And yet she's still trying to make it. So, and again, God took this broken down, messed up girl with her family messed up. She was addicted to pills and alcohol and you name it. And she's still trying to get on the right path, but yet God is traveling with her and showing her mercy and grace in all of her stories. And that's really what you're going to see. So I have to say, I loved it. I have a lot of little star moments. I have little heart moments because that's what I do in a book. There was nothing where I was going to write down and say, ooh, this could go in my Bible study, or ooh, this could go in a message if I'm speaking for women, or ooh, I got to put this in my journal. I was just reading about somebody else's life. I wanted to pick it back up because I was like, ooh, I want to find out what happened with her relationship. Ooh, I want to find out, did this person that was so important in her life die? There was also a story in here where she was talking about being a control freak as a mom because she was raising her son by herself. And she was like, some nice man wanted to take him on a hot air balloon. And she was like, I'm not going to let him go on a hot air balloon. I don't even know the guy. And she was trying to ask God if he was real to give her a sign and let her know, should she let him go? And yet the little boy is angry. He's like, Mom, let me go. Just let me go. And this is going on for a few pages. And I remember I had to put it down because I had to go somewhere. I couldn't wait to come home because I'm like, I want to know, did she let him go on the balloon ride? And it was so cool to see how God showed up. God showed up actually with a friend down the street that wanted to take him to some like arcade or something in replacement to the balloon ride at the exact same time. And it was like God got her out of that. And it was the coolest thing. And she's like, this is like when I cry out to God, these moments come. So I know he's real. I know he loves me. I know he's helping me as a single parent. So those little stories gave me goosebumps. And they're all through this book. Yet she's raw. She's very descriptive. She's going to show you grief spilled in the pages. She's going to share devastation. She's going to be very raw about her parents. She's going to be raw about stuff that happened in her life. You will cry. You will laugh. You will be like, ooh, what's going to happen next type of moment. And I loved it. I loved how she was all about, help me, Lord, help me. Yet she wasn't afraid to share, I'm a big mess. But yet God showed up as if a little puppy dog was laying on her lap and taking care of her and nurturing her. She actually could feel his presence, and she described those throughout the book. So again, it was like a journal, and it was lovely. Her faith journal was lovely. And believe it or not, Anne Lamott Traveling Mercies came out with Plan B, another one. And we're going to do that in our 2018 reading, because in just a few months, I'm going to be publishing the 2018 reading list. So if you're watching this, if you're part of it, I'm hoping that you will leave comments below of some books that you would like to hear or read with me in 2018, because I will be putting that together. So please share with a friend. Let's do a book club. I'm hoping to get more people together that can actually do a book review together, where we can actually connect, and you know how to do that. You understand all of that media stuff, because I do. I just need a few more people that can jump on, and we'll actually do reviews together. If not, for now, we'll just do reviews and then read together. You can follow me over on my Instagram. I do post books. I do post through there, or you can follow me over on HB Book Club on Facebook, and I post everything there. I'll post updates. I'll post where I'm at. I'll take pictures of my book and where I'm reading it, just to encourage us ladies. We're in a book club. Let's read. Let's say that we read 12 books in 1 year, and I'm so happy to say I have read a book every single month so far. Our book for September is Without Rival by Lisa Bevere. So join me on that. I'm hoping that you'll want to join and just, read. Now that's a little bit more of a thicker book about, how God's going to work and what type of things that we need to be embracing in our Christianity to kind of be that strong woman. So a little bit more of an encouragement book with some facts and wisdom and things that we could probably jot down in a Bible devotion or in some sort of log if we're keeping like a Bible diary or whatever. I have my war binder, so I'll jot notes down on there. However, I am doing Without Rival by audio. I'm trying one book this year by audio to see if I like it. So I've been listening to Without Rival in the car. What I'm doing is keeping a notebook. So a notebook is close by, and anything that she says that jumps out, I just jot it down. So I don't actually have the book in the pages, but I'm jotting it down and doing notes. So let me know if you've done an audio, if you're doing any audios, but I'm doing audio for September's read. So join me, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you're here for the first time and you're, hey, I'm here. I'm going to do Without Rival with you for September, and we'll do October, November, and December together, and then we're going to fall out and start all over in January together. So thanks again for reading. Hope you enjoyed Anne. If you have not read Traveling Mercies by Anne Lamott, then get it. If you're going on a vacation anywhere, awesome read for the beach. We had a couple books that were beach reads this year, but this was definitely one of those that you could just sit down, have in your family room. Say you want a cup of chai tea or whatever, a glass of wine or coffee at night. This would be one of those books that you would really enjoy just winding down the night with. You could put a story on and just let her speak to your faith in a way that could be encouraging to you through her traveling mercies, because God gives traveling mercies to us all. Sometimes we're just so wound up in our life we don't see it. So watching somebody else helps us be more aware of where God's at work in our life. So have an awesome day. Hope you enjoyed this book review, and I'll see you in September. Bye-bye.